If you could change any choices you have ever made, would you? You can always make another choice and change the course of your success. Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here is the host of Inspired Choices radio show, Holographist coach, Christine McIver.
Well, I am so happy you are here with me today. Yes, you have joined my show, the Inspired Choices radio show here, and tonight we have a topic that maybe some of you might really resonate with. I don't know what it's like in your world right now. If you're listening to this live, it is October the 30th, 2019. And if you're listening to this in the replay, I'm not sure if this is going on for you right now, but a lot of people, I'm finding a lot of clients, a lot of connections are having a big struggle. And this show really kind of came out of what's going on in the world right now. And the topic is, why do I even bother? How many of you feel like that? How many of you have ever felt like that? Like, why should I even bother? So this is what we're going to be talking about tonight. Before we jump into that, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I am a holographist coach working with individuals and organizations to really step into their desires right here, right now. So many of us are continuously looking to the future. In the future, I want this. When I'm this age, I want this. When this happens, I want this. And I really find that as we continue to do that and we continue to focus beyond where we are right now, what we desire continues to stay beyond where we are right now. So when you're working with myself, what you're going to find is I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to invite you. I am going to stir up your world so that you will choose it and be it and have it right here, right now. There's no need to wait. So when you're working with me, that's what we're going to be doing, whether we're talking about relationships, whether we're talking about business, we're talking about parenting, whatever it is that's going on in your world, an area that you desire to change or have more choice and enjoyment around, that's where we're going to focus. I do have a number of topics that I work with people on, a number of areas that I focus in, a couple of the areas that I really enjoy or programs that I've put together. The first one is called Up Your Ask. I found, now it's a pretty funny topic or title, I have found that many people are looking at what they don't have and really not utilizing the power of their words, the power of their choices. And I'm all about choices. So this program I put together, it's a 100-day program to really begin to shift your focus in your desires and really having them come forward. So it's 100 days where you connect. You receive an audio, you receive a workbook that you can utilize every day. Each and every day you receive an audio where we talk about that specific day and about how you can up your ask and have even more of what you desire. So many of us, I found in doing this program and creating this program, myself included, we focus on 2 or 3 things in our lives. And as we're doing that, we're narrowing our receiving. And so this program works with you to expand your reality, to expand your desires, and to really turn up your receiving in the act of asking. So you can connect with me and find all about that program at inspiredchoices.ca, and that's just one of the programs that I do have to offer. In addition to that, I do one-on-one coaching, and I do group coaching for your team. So you can connect with me. You can find all of my programs on my website or email me, Christine, at inspiredchoices.ca. So tonight, let's get back into that. So why do I even bother? Some days seem worse than some days. going, and never really feeling like you're getting anywhere? Why do I even bother? Life absolutely can kick us right in the center of our hopes and our dreams. And tonight we're going to discuss why we bother and when bother is a futile act better left in the past. So where do you find that you're getting really frustrated? Just focus in on that one area that first popped. What is it that you're finding you're kind of on a treadmill of life and you're thinking, why should I even bother? You know, a couple of weeks ago, this topic really came forth because that was something that was going on in my world. I was finding that in the creation of what I am desiring to create in my life and create in my business, I found like it really did feel to me what was coming visually in my mind was being on a treadmill of just going, and not really getting there. And I truly heard myself say, as I was going to sleep one night, why do I even bother? And when I woke in the morning, the energy was still with me. And that is where, when things like that are occurring in my world, that's where I start to lean in more and go, okay, what is this? What is it that this is trying to show me and teach me? Because in my world, it's not just I'm experiencing that, but I'm also observing what I'm experiencing. Can be a little interesting, and thank goodness I have some very dear friends that work with me to unpack a lot of this. And in doing so, what I found was that why do I even bother when that energy is coming up? Something is asking to be changed. Now, Melissa in the chat room says that why do I even bother? The topic for her is government has pissed me off. Like, why bother voting? That is a really good one, Melissa. Thank you for sharing that. So, politics is not a big area for me. And I kind of know that in saying that a lot of people will respond in, well, how can you change something if you're not involved? Now, let me be clear, I do vote. And I do experience the sentiments that Melissa has shared tonight, that many people have around government. What I know is that if there's an area where you're like, why should I even bother? It's coming up because there is a level of frustration that you have with it. Kind of obvious, yes. But even beyond that, that level of frustration is showing you that you have a desire in that frustration. And that desire is being unfulfilled. When that desire is being unfulfilled, there is something greater. So here's the thing. 80% of the time, we change something out of frustration. This is kind of a human number, and I've said this before. 80% of the time, we will change when we are unsatisfied or in displeasure with something, frustrated, angry, whatever that energy is for you that's quote-unquote negative. And 20% of the time, we will change out of pleasure. Now, why do we not change before? Why do we not change when we're in pleasure? Why do we wait to that moment of frustration? Well, for some people, I'm kind of getting here like, why bother? Why would we change when we're in pleasure? Well, you know, some people, let's look at like who's popping to mind. Some of the real movers and shakers in the world, some of the people that are quite wealthy, some of the big creators in the world, they will continuously raise the bar of their pleasure. And in doing so, right, they will change something before it becomes quote unquote negative. But most of us will wait until we are in displeasure because we're comfortable in that. So are you operating from a level of comfort, or are you operating from a level of desire? If you're operating from a level of comfort, you can be going into unconscious competence. So there's four stages of competence. You've probably heard this before. It's just for this conversation, I'm going to quickly explain it to you. So the four stages of competence are unconscious incompetence. In other words, you don't know what you don't know. There's conscious incompetence. You know that you kind of suck at something. There's conscious competence, where you really have to focus. I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. And you're being very present with your actions, with your choices, with your thoughts, with your words. And as you become very competent with something, you move into unconscious competence, where you don't need to think about it. And I often use the example of brushing your teeth. When you first learn to brush your teeth, you have no idea that you really suck at it, right? And you kind of maybe look at your parents and go, I don't know what they're doing. And when they actually hand the toothbrush to you, it might go down your throat and up your nose, cut your gums, something, and you're like, I don't want to do this. Well, that's conscious incompetence. I know that I really suck at this. And then you start to very, very much focus. I can do this, and you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're really focusing on what you're doing. And then before you know it, you become so competent at it, you don't need to think about it. And that's where we're talking about that comfort zone. So how much are you operating in your life from a level of comfort because you're choosing not to be conscious with your choices? This may be an uncomfortable thing for you to actually look at. Because why would I bother, Christine? This is what's kind of coming up, the thoughts that are what people are saying. Why would I bother, Christine, to look at those areas when I'm obviously comfortable with them? Here's one of the things that I very much know. We will always desire more. As human beings on this planet, we continuously desire more. When you can acknowledge this within yourself and within those around you, you can begin to let go of the judgment of, why am I not satisfied? Why am I not satisfied with what I have? Well, why should you ever be satisfied? We have such an abundant world. Why would you not desire to have even more? More pleasure, more joy, more laughter, more delicious food, more sweet wine, more beautiful, beautiful people in your world. When you acknowledge that you are in a continuous stage of desire, you can start to open up to receive even more of what is there. So, in talking about why should I even bother, please know that as we go to break, I just want you to be with that energy. Why should I even bother? When that energy is coming up, something is asking for your attention. Anytime that you are dissatisfied, your desires are knocking at the door. Your desires are saying, you forgot about me. You've got comfortable with where you're at. I'm still here. I know that this is a desire that you have put out to the universe. Okay, we're going to go for our first break of the night. When we get back, we're going to dive more into this. Why should I even bother? And really look at what is asking and what is being really invited for us in our lives, and what we can actually do and be and have and play with that can create more joy than we have today. So you're listening to Inspired Choices radio show with myself, Christine McIver, here on the Inspired Choices Network platform, and we will be right back. Stay tuned.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices radio show with holographist coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Inspired Choices radio show with holographist coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine at inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you for joining tonight, where we're talking about why do I even bother? There is so much to this topic, and, if this is poking you, if this is really bringing up a lot, please feel free to join us in the chat room at the Inspired Choices Network.com platform. Along the menu bar, you'll see chat room, and just come on in and you can post your questions there, or feel free to call in. I know that there are a lot of people in the world that are feeling very frustrated and very dissatisfied. And I really believe that we're looking at our lives, and we're looking to what we're creating, and we're looking at what we haven't done. We're looking at other professionals out there as well, and we're asking why, I'm not doing it the way that they're doing it, right? And then in doing that, we're really, really judging ourselves a great deal. So what I think is extremely important is we look at what is it that we really desire. What is it that we really want to have in our lives? So there's kind of like two areas that I want to focus on. And the first thing is, if you have something that is on your heart that you desire and you're not getting there, and you start to get the feeling of why do I even bother, there may be something that is asking for you to change, okay? So when many of us have these desires, we oftentimes go into this automatic behavior of doing the same thing over and over and over again, right? And as human beings, we want to feel comfortable. We have a very big desire for comfort. Nothing wrong with that. It just is what it is. And so we go on, if you were listening to the first segment, we were talking about those 4 stages of consciousness. So we often go through these stages of consciousness in order to get to a level of comfort. When we get to that level of comfort, we start to really relax, and it becomes less of something that is important to us. Let me give you an example of that. When I was a young woman, my very first business that I started was actually a skincare company. And I didn't start the company. I started to work in the company, and it became a very big part of my life. And I started to use a skincare line called Alouette Cosmetics, and I began to share these products with customers. I started to do shows all over the place, and I taught a lot of people how to do their skincare morning and evening, how to do it easily, and even to the point of saying it only takes you 3 minutes in the morning and 3 minutes at night. And what was really, really funny is that in doing that, I became very proficient at what I was doing. I became very proficient at teaching people how to take care of their skin. This was great. There were so many people, especially, this was, what year did I start that? 1983. So it was 2 years before my beautiful son was born. And I have been using that same product and doing the same routine with my skincare morning and night for the last, Melissa, for the last many, many years. And recently we had a new host start on the network. Her name is Amy Wall, and she has a show called Conscious Beauty Talk. I was very excited after speaking with her when she started to share what she does and what she works with her clients around beauty. And of course, it's a lot around your skin. And I was quite surprised at what she started to share with me and what started to change in my world. So I had become proficient and comfortable at doing my skincare. Now again, this is a very simplistic example on being comfortable. So what Amy started to show me in the way that she invites her clients in is how to be more present with myself, how to spend time with myself looking in the mirror at myself, how to spend time with my skin, how to very much be present in the creation of my skin each and every day. And I was so surprised at the enjoyment of being conscious with my skin and the enjoyment of really looking into my eyes and learning to experience myself in a whole new way. So I hope this is making sense. Imagine from 1983 to 2019 doing the same thing every day, twice a day, and what a level of comfort I had gotten with my skin. Okay? Now imagine that I had gotten into a very non-inventive routine. Now translate that over to something in your world. What have you been doing every single day, right? Is it maybe the way that you speak to someone you love? Is it the way you get up in the morning? Is it your response to, good morning? I remember when I worked in an office and people would walk in and I could count on different individuals to come by and just say, good morning, 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 right? That was their routine. They weren't being present, but they were very comfortable in how they behaved when they said good morning. And there were other people that would come by, stop at my office. Good morning, Christine. How are you? And they would actually stop and wait for my response. They would actually interact with me and be present with me. Now, those first set of people, I know today that they were very dissatisfied with what was going on in their world. But they were also choosing to be unconscious to their discomfort. Again, 80% of the time we will change out of frustration. So why do I even bother is a fabulous thing that actually occurs. Because when you are in this place of frustration, you begin to get present with what you are creating. You look at something and you go, hang on a second, this is not lighting me up. This is not creating the world that I desire to have and be. When people are comfortable with the way, as Melissa talked about in the chat room, about the government, when you just become comfortable to it, you actually begin to ignore something. But when you get dissatisfied to the point that you're like, why do I even bother? Damn it, why do I even bother? Something starts to stir within you. When you are in that level of frustration, you don't just ignore it. You don't just walk away. You know something more is being asked of you from yourself, from the world around you, when you get that level of frustration. You came here, each and every one of us came into body, came onto this planet to create something greater. We came here to be alive. We came here to have joy. If you are not enjoying yourself, you are in something that is creating less than that. You're not a less than person, my friend. So look at the areas of your life where you are dissatisfied. Are you dissatisfied with your money? Are you dissatisfied with your cash flow? Are you dissatisfied with maybe the setup of your home? Are you dissatisfied in a relationship? You are the only one in your world that can truly change anything. And that starts with your choices. You own the outcome of your choices. Now, can there be circumstances around you that impact that? Yes, there absolutely can be. But you still can make another choice. Are you choosing to lie and just fall down and be a victim in your life? Or are you willing to do whatever it takes to change that? It's not always easy. It can be really scary at times. But you, my friend, please know this. If you have a level of discomfort, if you have a level of frustration, it's like your desires are banging down on the door saying, come on, there's more here. There's more, and you can change this. So actually, if you are having this energy of why do I even bother, it's like your quote-unquote best friend is saying, you know why? You know why, but you've got to change it up. Would you be willing to see your desires as your best friend? And I don't mean that best friend that's going to tell you what you want to hear. I mean that best friend who's going to call you out on your bullshit. Do you have one of those? If you don't have one of those, you could hire a coach. You could hire me because I'll call you out on your bullshit. I will. I won't let you play the less than game. But a lot of people will because they don't want to be uncomfortable with your dissatisfaction. Get over it. You came here to be and do and create more in the world. You came here to have more. You came here to play more. And when you get to a space of discomfort and this really loud, why do I even bother? No, there's something within you that is starting to stir. You, my friend, are a volcano of desires waiting to burst out. But you've got to be willing to look at all of the energies that are coming up for you. I have some really big changes coming up in my world, and I am so incredibly grateful for the levels of dissatisfaction that have come through me. I can really look now at whenever something is stirring within me that's asking for more. Many, many, many people will try to shut those dissatisfactions down. You should be grateful. You should be satisfied. You should not complain. Did anybody ever have that growing up? A lot of times religion or the community around us, adults that really didn't know how to guide us, that's what would come out of them. No, that's not where we need to be operating from. We came here to change this world. We came here to do the impossible and make it possible. We knew on some level that more was absolutely available. And as we are willing to stretch ourselves, where we are willing to go beyond the quote-unquote norm, we can step into creating that which we don't even maybe realize is asking for our attention. So when anything negative is coming up, my friends, would you be willing to dance with it? Would you be willing to be with it in a way you've never been with it before? Change does not happen by doing the same thing over and over, right? Change happens when you're willing to do something different. All right, we're going to go for our second break of the night. You are listening to Inspired Choices Radio Show with myself, Christine McIver, here on the Inspired Choices Network. I'm so glad you're here tonight. Be sure to come back after the break. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices Radio Show with holographist coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices Radio Show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you ready to have pleasure with your business? Yes, I said pleasure with your business. The Pleasure of Business a la carte will surprise you with topics like meet yourself in the boardroom, money, services, and you. Expand your visibility. The pleasure of communication. The pleasure of Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Christine McIver has so much pleasure with business and loves teaching all things business. Beginning a new business? Desiring to expand a current business? Or looking to resurrect a business that has been dormant? This program will get you fired up and bring more pleasure than you have ever imagined. Exhausted with your excuses for not creating a phenomenal business? Join now for all the pleasure with business. Pleasure of Business a la carte gives you total choice for what you desire and what your business requires. That's 24 weeks of different topics to choose from with weekly calls, audio and video recordings, and PDFs. This class will have you dive right in and use tools to create the business that has been speaking to you. Go to inspiredchoices.ca for full details or join the Facebook page Pleasure o' Business a la carte Now is the time for you and your business.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with holographist coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine at inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. Tonight we are talking about why do I even bother? Let me just say that if that is something that keeps coming up in your world and it's starting to create depression or any kind of anxiety, please do reach out to a professional. There are times in our life where we really do require support from people who are professionals, guidance that will assist us in moving through something incredibly difficult. Doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. It actually means that you care enough about yourself that you're going to change what's ever going on in your world. Whatever level of frustration that you're going through, I want you to know this, that you have the ability to change anything in your world. You absolutely do. We have more capacity with our words, with our thoughts, and with our choices than we've ever known that we have before this time in space. A lot of what we grew up with in the world was that we were at the effect of things around us. And that is absolutely not true. We are not a victim. You are not a victim to anything that has gone on in your world. I am not saying that things can't suck really, really bad and that things can't be extremely devastating. I have had many things in my world where I felt like, sometimes like even the things in the world were against me. And in reflecting on a great deal of this over the number of years, I started to see where I could have made a different choice. For instance, I was in an abusive relationship. I was in that relationship for 9 years. And in that relationship, I really came from the space of, there's something going on around me. Someone's hurting me. And I should be rescued, right? I was looking at this other person and blaming them for what they were doing and felt like I didn't have choice in something. It's a really shitty place to be in. I know that. And I also know that when we can acknowledge and we can see ourselves for the potent people that we really are, for the power of our choice in every moment, we can begin to come out of those really, really shitty times. I know today that there were moments when, let me just put it to you this way. I remember I stayed with this person for 9 years. I was married to them, had a child with them, and I can remember we were probably together the first 5 months. I remember the exact moment like it was yesterday where he demonstrated behavior that for about 2 to 3 seconds, I wanted to scream, "Fuck you," and pick up my child and walk away. And I didn't. I chose to ignore that voice within me. And today I know that I did that because I was not ready or willing to look at what was having me choose to stay with him. I know I wasn't ready to do my work. And if you have ever found yourself in a place like that, or you find yourself there right now, it's okay. You will choose it when you're ready to choose it. But I had choice. I had choice to leave. And if we really unpack a lot of the areas in our life where we felt that we didn't have choice, and we go back a little farther, and we go back just before that moment, and then just before that moment, and just before that moment, we will see where there was a moment where we chose something. And if we're really vulnerable and honest with ourselves, we will see where we chose to ignore our knowing. We will see where something was asking to be looked at, and we weren't willing to look at it. And it's okay. I'm not angry with myself. I am not frustrated with myself. I am not, beating myself up for not taking the action at that moment. There was something that, I guess, in these 10 seconds, I would say there was something that was asking for more. But when I finally got to that space of, why do I even bother? Why don't I just give up? It was nearly like a slap across the face. I was actually sitting on my front porch, and I was having a cigarette, as I did when I was in that relationship. And I remember sitting there, and my mind started to wander. My level of frustration started to take me down the path of, what if he just died? What if I actually took care of him? What if I got rid of him? And my mind played out the whole scenario, like a movie I was watching, of how I could get rid of him. I'm telling you, it was right down to the moment of him going over the cliff in a car. And then the feeling of satisfaction started to come over me. And then I think my logical brain kicked in and said, well, but what if they caught you? What's going to happen to your kids then? And it was a huge wake-up call. And it was that moment that I went, oh my God. And I nearly kind of stepped back from what was going on in my mind and went, holy shit, if I am thinking about that, what could I actually follow through with? And it scared the crap out of me. It actually scared me straight. And it had me wake up, really wake up to what I was willing to get comfortable with, and the scare of what that was actually infusing into my world to have me go, no. There's more there for you. There's more there for you. Because trust me, when you're in that each and every day of the dissatisfaction and somebody putting you down and going through that rhythm of less than, you really, at least I got to that space of why even bother? Why even bother? Why should I even bother? And finally, that crazy daydream, because that's what it was, woke me up. And that's when I started to choose beyond the norm of my reality. You don't have to get to a crazy place like I got to. But please, my friends, start to look at where you are in that space of why do I even bother? There is a desire in you that is equal or greater to your level of satisfaction asking to come through. You may not recognize it right now, but there is a level of desire. There is a level of want. I want more for my life. I want more for my reality. If you come across the levels, or the areas rather, where you have these levels of why do I even bother coming up, look at them. Begin to look at, where do I want more? And if I was to die tomorrow, would I die with regret? Would I die frustrated thinking, damn, I really wanted to do this. I really wanted to have this. I really wanted to create this. If that comes up for you, there is something greater waiting on the other side of this. Why do I even bother? But it's up to you. It's up to you to get brave with what this is. It's up to you to really be willing to go into those dark nights of the soul, those places where you feel like you're going to come unglued, and maybe you will, but you will get on the other side of it. You will. If you need someone to help you get through that, I would love to be that person to work with you. I know what that is like. The changes that are coming in my world right now have taken my breath away. It's really challenging me, and I'm not going to share all that tonight, but I will. I will share that in the future shows, but it's really taken my breath away. But at the same time, my willingness to be brave with it has moved me forward to the point that I am moving through it. Am I uncomfortable? Yes. I am very uncomfortable. Can I see the future? No. Actually, no, I can't. I can see steps into it. I can't see the whole thing. Ask yourself, how can I change this level of dissatisfaction? How? Show me, universe. Show me. Show me my next step. That's all you need. Truthfully, that's all you need is one more step. And then one more step. We are such control freaks. We want to know everything. And I am the leader of that band. I am telling you, I am the leader of the band of being a control freak, of wanting to know what my next step, what the whole, the whole layout, the whole entire map looks like. I've always wanted to see the whole thing. And today I just ask, universe, show me my next step. Show me. And you will get a nudge. Take that step. Take the step. And then take the next one. And then take the next one. And watch how your life starts to unfold exactly in the way that you desire. It's quite amazing when you begin to acknowledge the capacities that you have in changing your world very, very quickly and without too much uncomfortableness. But you got to be willing to look at where you are too comfortable. We're going to go for our last break. And when we get back, we're going to wrap up the show. You're listening to Inspired Choices Radio Show on the Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices Radio Show with holographist coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices Radio Show. every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message? The world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with holographist coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for joining tonight. This has been a show that has really been part of the conversation in my world for some time, and I'm really grateful that each and every one of you are here. I would love to hear your feedback. I would love to receive an email from you, your thoughts, what's going on in your world. You know, when you send in your thoughts, when you send in your experience of what is being shared both on my show and on other shows, it starts to really speak to us as hosts, and it gives us the fuel for sharing what we know. And my question to you is, what do you know that you have not been willing to look at? What do you know that if you would be willing to be vulnerable with yourself and look at it, it would start to change your reality? So we started out the show talking about why do I even bother, and how some days just feels like you're not getting anywhere. I really want you to understand that every experience, every emotion that you are experiencing is your desires reflecting back to you, asking you to pay attention. Just like the example of looking in the mirror at my skin and looking at my eyes and connecting with myself, myself was asking for me to connect and to be present with who I am. Your life, your desires, your being is asking for you to be present. When it gets loud, when it gets uncomfortable, it's not your world blowing up. It's really your world asking you to come forward. It's really your world asking for you to pay attention. Get conscious. Get conscious with what you are doing and being, because there's more. There's so much more out there. We've seen so many amazing things that people choose and create. You're not anything less than anything you've ever witnessed. You have the opportunity to change your world and to live a life of your desires. It is completely and totally up to you. It's within your grasp if you're willing to get vulnerable with it. And my challenge to you is to say, my friend, you came here for a big reason, a really big reason. Are you ready to embrace that? No matter what you do, I want you to remember this final thought. You can always make another choice. Please join me next week where we'll have another inspiring show.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, be willing to choose what you really desire. This is your life. Making the choice